because release is active. It's not passive. It's saying I'm going to feel this fully so I can move through it and not live stuck in it. It's reminding yourself that you're human and humans have emotions. And once you name it, you can tame it and you can heal yourself from it. Welcome to Remix Moments with Martine, where we will remix your mindset one moment at a time. I'm your host, Martine Williams, and I'm here to bring you a quick burst of inspiration, insight, and a fresh spin on your mompreneur journey. In just a few minutes, we'll remix your mindset, energize your day, and keep you moving forward with purpose. Let's dive in to today's moment. Well, hey friend, and welcome back to Life Coaching for Mompreneurs. I am your host, Martine Williams. If this is your first time tuning into the show, you are entering in to a very real season for me. And so for those of you that are new, I am in a full-time caregiving season where I'm taking care of my mother-in-law who has stage 4 pancreatic cancer and is living in the home with us right now. And it's equally an honor and equally hard to be in this season. And so it's not business as usual here on the podcast. So if you are brand new, feel free to go back and binge other episodes that are particular to maybe business or some of the other topics, confidence and things we talk about on the podcast. But I really have just felt led to just be really transparent and share from a vulnerable place real life. You know, this podcast, the original title of this podcast was Mompreneur Life Remixed. And mompreneur life is life, right? There are times where things are hard. And I always want to come from a place of honesty and being authentic with you to create safety for you to be authentic with yourself. And when things are hard, letting them be hard. And when things are amazing and exciting, letting them be amazing and exciting. And one thing I have learned really in the last 2 years of the work that I've been doing on myself personally is that when you shut off the pain and you shut off the emotions of sadness and anger and frustration, which are the hardest ones for me to allow, you also shut off joy and you also shut off peace and some of those other things. So you can't just shut one thing down. It's all impacted. And so as I have been leaning into some of the negative emotion, or I hate to even call them negative because there are no good or bad emotions. They're all messengers, right? But just allowing myself to feel the ones that don't feel that great. It's allowing me to also feel joy at its fullest and feel peace at its fullest. So today I want to talk about something that's come up for me a lot in the season, and maybe it's true for you too. And it's the difference between releasing and resisting. And the truth is, if you allow yourself to feel it, you allow yourself to heal it. And maybe you've heard you got to name it to tame it. And believe me, when I used to hear those things, I'm like, yeah, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to allow myself to feel, nor do I want to feel. I remember my coach slash therapist slash friend, me saying to her one time, like, I don't want to feel that. And she's like, well, thank you for being honest. I mean, who wants to feel sad? I don't. Who wants to feel anger? I don't. I really don't. And I used to have a lot of thoughts about those emotions and thoughts of like, I don't have time for that. Or I'm the encourager. And so let me just change my mind and think different thoughts so that I can feel something different. And there is a time and a place for that. And I do a lot of work with my clients on that. But what I was realizing, or what I have realized, is that I wasn't in any permission or allowance of those emotions. Completely tried to shut them off for lots of reasons, and some that I've already shared with you. But now what I fully understand is that if I allow myself to feel it, truly feel it, then I can heal it. And so many of us spend our days resisting. And what we resist persists. You've heard me say that on the podcast many times, but when it comes to this, like resisting hard emotions, resisting disappointment, like that was one that I almost like would like pride myself with, that like it takes a lot to disappoint me. It takes a lot to ruffle my feathers. It takes a lot to make me upset or mad at someone. And those things are true because I have a high level of pace in my personality, which is your patience trait. And so I am very patient, but it's also like just avoiding disappointment and resisting disappointment because it doesn't feel good to be disappointed. And so I just would immediately go into fixing the emotion versus feeling the emotion. Maybe, resisting grief or uncertainty, right? And how many of us do that, especially the uncertainty? And we just try to create plans or push through, stay strong, keep going. And what happens is when we resist, is that emotion doesn't disappear. It doesn't. You might think it does, but it doesn't. It just buries deeper. And buried emotions leak out in other ways. Sometimes they come out sideways, right? Like you say something that you didn't mean to say because part of the way it can come out is in a very stressful situation and all of the emotion that's been buried comes out. Maybe it leaks out in the form of burnout for you. Maybe it leaks out in the form of exhaustion. Maybe even some physical symptoms. I was talking to a client today about the book, The Body Keeps Score, and it's a very interesting book. It's a lot of science, so you got to be ready for that. But the premise of it is your body is keeping score of all of this unhealed trauma, unhealed emotions, not processed emotion. And I think I'm super thankful that we're in a time period in our world where emotions are not seen like they used to be. And I mean, if even men, right, are allowing more emotion than they used to and talking about their emotions and processing their emotions. And I just think it's really, really important. And, I used to really label emotion as drama, like she's just being a drama queen or he's just being a drama king. And it's not always true. Sometimes, yes, but it's not always true. So I don't know about you, but I've tried when it comes to resisting what's real and what the real emotion is, just pretending that I'm fine. We've talked about that here on the podcast here lately. Again, overworking to avoid feeling, numbing with distraction, diving into your work, doom scrolling on Facebook, or just getting yourself super busy. Like for me, I don't have time for that because a belief that I had about allowance of emotion, especially an emotion that doesn't feel good for me, like sadness and anger, is if I gave it an inch, it was going to take a yard. If I gave myself 5 minutes to feel that emotion, it was going to take me out. So, of course, I was walking around trying to protect myself and not allowing myself to feel what I really needed to feel, what was really happening. And what I found is that none of those things brought relief, they just prolonged the pain. So, the healing begins when we stop resisting what we feel and instead allow ourselves to release it. And this doesn't mean wallowing or spiraling, it means naming the emotion. So, part of this season that we're in with my mother-in-law, there's multiple facets to caregiving. And in and of itself, stage 4 pancreatic cancer and taking care of someone who has that and watching them deteriorate right in front of your eyes is very, very challenging. And then on top of that, there's been a relationship that she has that's been very, very challenging, that has been adding doubt, adding fear, just not helpful. And so this week, like I had a lot of anger around that and I had a lot of frustration and a lot of sadness because it just shouldn't be this way. So I went for a walk. I try to walk Finn as much as I can because that's one of the ways that I am learning to release on my walks. Sometimes I am releasing by talking to a friend. Sometimes I'm Marco Poloing. I have some friends that live on the opposite side of the country. Sometimes I am listening to worship music and just praying and releasing that way. And Tuesday, it was really just walking and weeping, like just allowing myself to be sad, like the depths of sadness. And naming it. And I kept coming back to those three words, like, I am angry, I am sad, and I'm frustrated. And just me allowing myself to say that I'm allowing myself to be that person who has those emotions is such a level of growth for me. And there was a release in that. So just naming what it is and then allowing the space to feel it. And I mean, thankfully it was a sunny day to have my sunglasses on because the people that I normally walk by when I'm walking the dog couldn't tell. But I mean, I was literally weeping as I was walking. And then, inviting God into it. Like, Lord, help me to feel this so I can heal it. Help me to just help me. And sometimes that's all I can say is, this is hard, help me. And, what's happening here, or how would you have me handle this situation? And so just naming the emotion, allowing the space to feel it, and then inviting God into it has been the biggest help to me in releasing and not resisting it. Because release is active. It's not passive. It's saying I'm going to feel this fully so I can move through it and not live stuck in it. And if you're someone who is not used to doing that, if you don't allow the space to do that, it can feel very scary because it can feel like if I allow myself to go there, it's going to take me out. I'm going to be stuck in it. I'm going to go into depression. I'm going to go to a full anxiety attack or panic attack. But releasing it is active. It's reminding yourself that you're human and humans have emotions. And once you name it, you can tame it and you can heal yourself from it. And you can allowing God to come in and work in your life in that way. Hey friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure. It's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
I honestly cannot say enough positive things about coaching with Martine. From the very first session, I knew this was something different. The deep dive into who I am and why I operate the way I do per the ProScan results has helped me immensely and allowed me to embrace my unique qualities on various levels. I would 1000% recommend hiring her for whatever level of transformation you're looking for.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martinewilliams.com with 3 times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show. So I've talked about catch, check, change when it comes to your thoughts and your mindset. And I think it's equally helpful when it comes to practicing release. So the first step would be to catch it, like notice the emotion instead of pushing it away. Example, like I did on Tuesday, I feel anxious, I feel sad, I feel tired, I feel frustrated. Like just noticing that emotion and noticing where you feel it in your body too, which is also very new for me. And I'm like, oh, that's so woo woo. And I don't understand that, but emotions are energy in the body and we do need to understand where it's coming from. And so catching it. And then the second is check it, ask, is this emotion telling me something true? Is it telling me something true, or is it fear disguised as fact? Like, what is this emotion telling me? This is a message. Like, I remember my coach therapist telling me like emotions are just messengers. And so it's like the check engine light coming on in the car. So what is this emotion telling me? Is it telling me something true? And then the third one is to change it, like not by ignoring it, but by releasing it through prayer, through journaling, through tears, through movement, or just saying out loud, like, God, I give this to you in full surrender. Like, I don't understand. I don't like how it feels. And I'm just going to give it to you. I was listening to a pastor on Instagram the other day. I wish I could remember his name, but he gave the best teaching on surrender. And he talked about like casting all your anxiety. And when he talked about casting, he talked about a cast net. And I'm like, well, I'm a visual person. I can totally get that. And he's like, they don't cast half the net. They cast the whole thing, casting all your anxiety on him, casting all your fear, casting all of your doubt, like casting it all, throwing it all out to him. And that's hard to do sometimes, especially if you're a control freak and you want to be in control. But control is an illusion too. What are you actually in control of? We're in control of our thoughts, we're in control of our actions, our words. But there are some circumstances that may not change and they're out of your control. So cast it all to him. And part of that is in the changing. I'm not ignoring it. I'm releasing it. I'm changing how I handle the situation. And then the results is the release. And what release creates is when you allow yourself to feel and release instead of resist, you experience peace instead of pent up pressure. Try me out on this one. You build emotional resilience and emotional safety instead of emotional walls. So you've heard me say this before, but if you're willing to feel anything, you'll be willing to do anything. And when we create emotional resilience and safety, and we are not fearful of feeling sad or mad or doubt or awkwardness, or, I mean, there's lots of emotions that we try to avoid as entrepreneurs. But when you allow yourself to feel it and you're not afraid of it anymore, that's when that resilience is built. And that's when release comes because you're no longer fearing the sadness, you're just allowing it to be what it is. The third thing that release creates is you heal faster because you're moving through the emotion instead of storing it up. Like the other day, going on that walk, I mean, it was probably an hour walk. And had I had pushed it down, like, which is what I would have done in the past, it would still have been there after the walk. But it was like it came in waves and I would like weep and then I would get this like peace that came over like literally physically in my body. And then I would have another thought and then another round of weeping and sadness would come. But each time I felt the healing, I felt the release. And so it allows you to move through the emotion versus storing and stuffing. And then another thing that release creates is you just feel more like you again. Like you think like my previous versions of myself in this area would have been like, I'm going to push this down because it's not who I am. And I have too much to do. And I don't have time for this. But I actually feel more like me again because I'm not numb. Remember, you can't just numb the pain and the sadness. You also numb the joy when you shut off your emotions. So I feel more like me again, present and whole and grounded and like just so in tune with myself after that walk yesterday and being able to communicate how I was feeling and to myself and to others. And I mean, I really spent the whole day kind of in a sad place. And I was able to communicate that to the people that I trust. And it felt really good to just be honest and not try to be the strong one for everyone. So I guess what I want to close with is if you're holding something heavy right now, doesn't have to be a caregiving situation or an illness, but anything that feels heavy to you right now. Heavy is, right, it's relative to you. I want you to hear this, that you don't have to resist it. You don't have to push it down. You don't have to numb it or pretend that it's not there. If you allow yourself to feel it, you will give yourself permission to heal it. You will. It will not take you out. Even if it takes you out for a day, you are building resilience. You have people around you that love you and care for you and that will not allow it to take you out completely. But you got to feel it. You got to give yourself permission to feel it. And in that release, you're going to find God's presence. You're going to find his peace. You're going to find his strength in ways that you never could while resisting. He had all those emotions. He knows. He's the God of comfort. He knows how you're feeling. He's experienced it himself. So I want to encourage you with that. And I thank you for allowing me to be in this space and be vulnerable and honest with you. And I do hope that it's helping even one person who is going through something heavy. And I appreciate the reach outs and the check-ins. So many of you have checked in and said praying for you and appreciating, the honesty on the podcast. So thank you again for all of that support. And I'm going to keep showing up to the mic as much as I possibly can. And what I feel like God's working in and out of me, I'm going to come and share it with you because I believe that we go through struggles to help other people with them too. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you on our next episode. Well, that's it, friends, for this remix moment. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me, and I hope that you are feeling inspired and ready to take on whatever comes your way. Remember, even small moments can lead to big changes. If this moment made a difference, be sure to subscribe, share with your fellow moms, and leave me a quick review. Seriously, it means the world to me to hear from you. And until next time, I am believing in you, and I will catch you in the next moment.